Finally, the NBA playoffs are here, and seeing how it's the best time of year for basketball, it's also time for you to shoot your shot and score big on the non-stop action with MyBookie. Whether you're filling out multiple brackets, betting on the eventual championship winner, or simply looking for player and game props, MyBookie has you covered. Getting started with MyBookie is simple. Visit the website online, make your first deposit, and use promo code ARNETT to claim an exclusive deposit bonus. Deposit bonuses get as high as $1,000. That's promo code ARNETT to claim some extra money on top of your initial deposit. With hundreds of thousands in prizes for the playoffs and weekly blackjack tournaments, you can turn your game day into payday with MyBookie. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. There have been many instances in NBA history where one conference was much stronger and much more stacked than the other. One of those instances was in the era of the late 2000s, where the West far outweighed the East. In the history of the NBA, only 2 teams have finished as an 8th seed and won at least 50 games. They were the 07-08 Denver Nuggets and the 09-10 Oklahoma City Thunder. Despite being stronger than your typical 8th-seeded teams, both of those squads were eliminated by Kobe Bryant and the Los Angeles Lakers. Speaking of which, there's strong competition, and then there's what these teams had to go against. Only 3 teams in NBA history have eliminated 4 50-win teams in one postseason run. The Houston Rockets did it in 1995, then the Lakers did it in 2001, and then the Lakers did it again in 2010. As far as players go, Kobe Bryant, Derek Fisher, and Robert Horry are the only ones who have accomplished this feat twice. Chris Paul is one of the greatest point guards of all time. Everyone should agree with that statement. But so far in his career, Paul has achieved something that even other legendary point guards never accomplished. At the time I'm making this video, Chris Paul has played 1,361 games between the regular season and the playoffs. And yet, with that incredibly high volume, Paul never played a single game where he didn't record an assist. Every single game of his career, Paul has dished out at least 1 dime. Magic Johnson can't say that. Neither can John Stockton, Jason Kidd, Steve Nash, Isaiah Thomas, Oscar Robertson, or LeBron James. In fact, of the top 100 players with the most assists in NBA history, Chris Paul is the only player who never had a game with 0 assists. If that doesn't put him in the conversation of the greatest point guards of all time, then I don't know what will. Draymond Green is known for his fierce defense and for being an integral part of the Golden State Warriors dynasty, but unfortunately, he's also known for his antics on and off the court. Draymond is extremely close to being in the top 10 list for the most technical fouls in NBA history, as he currently sits at a total of 163. He started accumulating those T's immediately, and I mean immediately, in his basketball career. His first NBA basket came on November 14, 2012, against the Atlanta Hawks. Draymond buried an open 3 and immediately started taunting Zaza Pachulia, who began defending late. The refs then called Draymond for a technical foul. That's right, Draymond got a technical foul on his very first basket in the association, which honestly foreshadowed how his career would play out pretty well. Speaking of technicals, these are the top 10 players with the most technical fouls in NBA history. And what do these 10 players have in common? Every single one of them was an NBA All-Star at least once. Let me know in the comments why you think this is. Is it because great players always have a chip on their shoulder? Or is it maybe because great players getting technicals is more tolerated? Let me know your thoughts. Leading scorers don't win championships. No, this isn't an absolutely true statement, but it was a prominent narrative many years ago, and even to this day, it's actually pretty accurate quite often. Only 11 times has the league scoring champion gone on to win an NBA championship in the same season. What's stunning is that Michael Jordan did it 6 times, meaning that MJ accomplished the feat more than the rest of NBA history combined. Unsurprisingly, Michael Jordan is clearly the reason why no one talks about this narrative any longer. But maybe we still should, considering how it hasn't been done in over 2 decades, with the most recent one being Shaq in the 99-2000 season. Over the years, the game of basketball has seen massive inflation in the amount of three-point shots taken. But long ago, there was a small blip in time where the NBA was letting it fly. In the mid-90s, the league office was concerned with the fact that general scoring was progressively on the decline. So they attempted a solution. They shortened the three-point line from 23 feet 9 inches to 22 feet away from the basket. As expected, the amount of attempts and the efficiency dramatically increased. But two players specifically started launching the ball like never before: George McCloud of the Dallas Mavericks and Dennis Scott of the Orlando Magic. To this day, George McCloud still has the Mavericks record for the most three-pointers made in a season. It was the 95-96 season, and it was a total of 257. That's a total significantly higher than the fellow Mavericks totals of Luka Doncic, Jason Terry, Steve Nash, Vince Carter, and Dirk Nowitzki. He was averaging a tremendous 8.6 attempts per game. For perspective on just how much that was during that era, that same season, the entire New Jersey Nets team averaged 9.1 attempts per game. As amazing as McCloud's total was, it wasn't the best that season, as the sharpshooting Dennis Scott made 267 three-pointers that year, which is still the Orlando Magic's franchise record. The thing is, despite the increase in three-point volume, the scoring didn't increase league-wide with a shortened three-point line, as the league's issue was a much slower pace of play. So after 3 years of a shorter three-point line, the league put it back to its original position starting in the 97-98 season. How many three-pointers do you think players would be making today if they returned the line back to 22 feet? The Boston Celtics have arguably the most prestigious history of any basketball franchise, and have had many great scoring legends throughout their history, like John Havlicek, Larry Bird, and Paul Pierce, just to name a few. With that being said, Jason Tatum did something this year that's never been done by a Celtic before, by averaging at least 30 points over the course of the season. All that history of great scoring, yet this young star stands alone. There have been many great teams throughout the rich history of basketball, but two teams won more games than anyone else: the 95-96 72-10 Chicago Bulls and the 15-16 73-9 Golden State Warriors. Only one player in NBA history played against both of those teams, and it was the all-time great power forward Kevin Garnett. In each of those cases, Garnett was a member of the Minnesota Timberwolves, and what will come as a surprise to absolutely no one, Garnett went 0-3 against those teams. In the last 24 years, 22 of the last 24 NBA Finals have been represented by either California or Texas. The 2023 playoffs are currently underway, and I can promise you one thing: Texas won't be representing the finals this time. This season, all 3 Texas teams missed the playoffs. This was the first time it had happened in NBA history. LeBron James has had quite a bit of playoff success throughout his career, but no fact may better prove that point than this one. In the last 40 years of basketball, LeBron James has won more playoff games than each of these NBA franchises. That's insanely impressive, but consider this: if you were to combine the win totals of the Timberwolves, Pelicans, Hornets, Wizards, and Grizzlies, LeBron would still be way ahead of the combined total of those teams. At this point, domination might as well be his middle name. Which one of these facts was the most interesting, and do you have any new facts to share with the rest of us? Let me know in the comments section below. Thanks for watching as always. Make sure to like and subscribe for more basketball content, and I'll see you guys in the next video.